Gandhara, literally meaning the land of fragrance, was an ancient civilization that existed from the middle of the 1st millennium BCE to the beginning of the 2nd millennium CE on the west of the river Indus, in what is now the northern bounds of Pakistan, namely Peshawar, Swat, Dir, Barja, Bunna, Mardan, and Swabi. Once upon a time, Afghanistan was not as we see it today, according to studies. It was once known as Gandhara, and the fact that it still has a city named Kandahar confirms the truth. According to experts, the Gandhara kingdom covered portions of today's northern Pakistan and eastern Afghanistan. Gandhara is frequently mentioned in the Ramayana and Mahabharata. The Iron Age Gandhara kingdom emerged as a major imperial power during the reign of King Pushkarasarin around 550 BCE. By the end of the 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great, 356 to 323 BCE, invaded Gandhara. He captured Aura, near present-day Swat, and then conquered Pushkalavati, the capital of Gandhara, which is present-day Charsadda, and the Indus River basin area, Hund. Lord Rama's brother Bharata and his wife Mandavi, a cousin of Sita, had 2 sons named Taksha and Pushkal. Bharata conquered the Gandhara region and ruled it. 2 cities emerged in the valley surrounding the Kabul and Swat rivers, named after Bharata's 2 sons, Taxila, named after Taksha, and Peshawar, named after Pushkal. The early settlement of these 2 great cities later became the basis for the Gandhara civilization. Mentioned in the Ramayana, 8th to 4th BCE, and the Mahabharata, Gandhara thus had ancient roots. Long before Buddhism was propagated in the kingdom, the region had a significant population. Lord Rama's 2 nephews must have lived in the ancient Hindu realm, and consequently, so did the early Gandharans. With Buddhism came an evolution of thought that brought new rules of life, a new philosophy, and a new religious order, thus bringing in a new paradigm for ancient artistic traditions. The Gandhara civilization prospered in the northwestern region of the Indian subcontinent, in areas that are now present-day northwestern Pakistan and eastern Afghanistan. Gandhara is mentioned in an even older text, the Rigveda, 1500 to 1200 BCE, which has a whole poem dedicated to the kingdom. Another sacred text, the Atharvaveda, 1500 to 1000 BCE, mentions the region and its people as Gandharis. Documentation from these ancient times establishes the fact that Gandhara as a civilization existed in at least the Bronze Age. Gandhara is also mentioned as a satrapy of the ancient Achaemenid Empire of Iran. The Behistun inscription lists Gandhara along with Bactria and Scythia as one of the 23 territories ruled by King Darius I, 522 to 486 BCE. The Achaemenid Palace of Darius I at Susa has an inscription listing all the satrapies and regions of the empire that contributed to the building of the palace. It states that the timber to build the palace was brought from Gandhara. Herodotus mentioned Gandhara in his histories as one of the regions that paid taxes to Darius the Great. Gandhara was part of the Achaemenid Empire during the reigns of Cyrus II and Darius I. The Gandhara civilization took root in a fertile region, one of surreal natural beauty. The rivers held great religious significance. For instance, the Kabul River and the Swat River converge at a single point from where they flow into the mighty Indus River. The local population still holds the place in reverence and buries their dead at that point. It is not only the Greek historian Herodotus, 484 to 425 BCE, who, in his groundbreaking compilation of history, the Histories, mentions Gandhara as a satrapy of Darius I. Ptolemy, 90 to 168 CE, the Hellenic Egyptian scientist, says Gandhara existed in the basin of the Kabul River, which is now present-day Pakistan. Gandhara is surrounded by high mountains, making the region difficult to access, but because the region is strategically located, it did not hinder people from all over the region to come to Gandhara, for not only trade and commerce but also for the exchange of ideas and learning. Taxila hosted one of the first universities in the world. The region became the gateway into the Indian subcontinent, producing a uniquely eclectic culture, which, in turn, produced splendid art. Alexander stayed in Taxila for a month. He was seriously wounded thrice while campaigning in the northwestern region of the Indian subcontinent. Finally, close to the Beas River, with no optimistic chances of winning, he gave up the campaign at the insistence of his troops. Some historians say that his injuries in India were the main cause of his demise later. Alexander's sojourn on the outskirts of the Indian subcontinent was short-lived. By 316 BCE, another great empire, the Mauryan, from the east, had already established firm control on the Gandhara region. Chandragupta Maurya not only defeated the rulers of satrapies in the Gandhara region but also the formidable Seleucus I, the Macedonian general of Alexander, thus establishing another glorious era for the arts of the Gandhara region. Gandhara became a vassal state of the Sassanid Empire of Persia in 241 to 450 CE. The archenemies of the Sassanids, the Hepthalite Huns, have an ambiguous identity. They are sometimes called the White Huns and sometimes described as a mixture of Turkic and Iranian tribes. They captured the Gandhara territory around 450 CE. The White Huns did not adopt Buddhism. Another monk, Songyun, visited Taxila in 520 CE. He came across an incredible experience when he met a bodhisattva who cut his own head and offered it to another, or so he recorded in his chronicles. By the time Xuanzang, 602 to 664 CE, another Chinese monk and traveler, arrived in the kingdom of Gandhara, it was already in ruins. The great realm in which the kingdom existed was now a shambles, the villages were dilapidated, and the roads were shabby and unkempt. The Buddhist monasteries gave a forlorn look. The Huns had finally destroyed a kingdom. Though the marks and ruins of Gandhara civilization can be found throughout northern Pakistan, its heritage has been saved more in true form in Taxila, Peshawar, and the Swat Valley. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you for watching.